So, this lesson is about using offset accounts. It is exercise 8C.6 and 8C.7, which I wrote, or just the DI only. So what is an offset account? It is something that banks offer to people who take out home loans. It's something that I'm literally using right now. It's an account that acts just like any transaction or savings account, meaning you can withdraw or deposit money from it, but it doesn't earn interest for you. So you're probably thinking at this point, why would I take that out with a bank if it's not earning me any money? Well, the purpose of it is this. Any money in the offset account, the bank literally doesn't look at when it's calculating interest. Okay? So let's, for example, say that your home loan was 500 grand and it was a 5% interest rate. If you had 20 grand in your offset account, when the bank looks at the 500,000, it's not looking at 500,000 anymore. What's it going to look at? 480,000. And so when they charge you 5% interest, would you rather get 5% interest on 480,000 or 500,000? Exactly. That's where an offset works. Okay? So literally, I made a promise to Mia that I wouldn't show you all of the banking stuff because I want to show you how it's real. This is real, but I'm not allowed to show you our banking information that in depth. So we've got, like, my pay goes into an offset account. So any money that's in the offset account, the bank's not looking at when it charges us interest. The more in there, the better. The less in there, the worse. But at least it's doing something. So basically, it works exactly like a lump sum payment, but the money isn't spent. If you've been doing the stuff you've been asked to do while I was away, you would have noticed that with a lump sum, you spent the money to save money. You don't have access to that lump sum anymore. It's gone. It's been used. Whereas with an offset account, you can just put your money in the offset account. You can draw it later. Okay? You can park money in the offset account to reduce interest however long you want, but you can withdraw it as needed. The problem is if you withdraw it, if there's less money in the offset account, it's not offsetting anymore. Right? This is an advantage of offset accounts, and this is a common question in the exams and the tests, is why would you do an offset over a lump sum? Someone tell me. Why would I do an offset over a lump sum? They work the same way. I still have access to the money. Okay? If I put 10 grand towards a lump sum, my 10 grand is gone. If I put 10 grand in an offset, well, it's reducing the amount of interest I pay on the home loan while it's in there. If I withdraw all that 10 grand, well, it's not helping, but it helped for a short time. Okay? So mathematically is what you care about the most. So that's what I suggest that you get down. It might help on your cheat sheet, or remember how the example went. Mathematically, this means for offset account questions, anytime money is in the offset, you find the debt at the start of the offset and the end. When an offset starts, you subtract the offset from the remaining debt in the loan. And then this is the tricky part. This is something that you didn't do in lump sums. When an offset ends, you add the offset amount back on to the remaining debt because you don't have an offset anymore. And so this is just a note here. Because there's multiple sections in a loan with an offset, there will be multiple TVM solvers and multiple sections of interest to calculate. For example, the section of loan before an offset, the section of loan during the offset, and the section of loan after the offset. Okay? I'll give you time to get that. There's no numbers there, but that's how the maths works. The maximum difficulty I've seen in an exam is 3 sections of loan. Before an offset, during and after. If you want to flex on people in your DI, you can do you can do 4 sections. But it's still not realistic because in real life it could be changing every freaking day. Yeah. So just get that little highlighted bit, and then we're going to do a very long example. And then I'll shut my mouth so you can get me some GIs to draw. And just a forewarning, by Thursday, at the end of the double, I want to see something to mark with your work, otherwise I'm going to touch your phone. There's literally no reason. What have you been doing in class? Weren't asked to do exercise. The stuff in red you don't need to get down, but I want this on record that I'm telling you it's the hardest calculation. I've seen it in the last couple of exams. It is the last question of your test, an offset within a loan. And it's also where in your DI you're going to show the ability to get A's and A pluses. Because say for example, setting up your default home loan. That's not considered complex. You didn't have to do anything. You just chuck some numbers. As soon as you start stuffing around with different sections, it's more complicated. So with a lump sum, how many sections of a loan? There's 2. With an offset, there's at least 3. The 3 bit is what SACE considers complex. Okay? The other part that you get complexity is part 2, where you start combining different strategies. Right? If you've read ahead, I'll talk to you about that more on Thursday. Okay, even if you're getting a little bit of this still, leave space, because what's important is the actual example. Consider the default home loan 2024. That was the 500 grand, 5%, etc. If we paid off the loan normally for 5 years, deposited an offset for 10 years, and then withdrew the offset and paid off the loan normally for the remaining time, how much interest would be saved? In your book, that would be scaffolded. Because I'm a troll, in your test, that's just asked like that. But the way I've taught you, I'm hoping that you'd be able to work out how many sections I'd need. How many different sections of loan are there going to be if I paid off the loan normally? It's recording, by the way. I'll get rid of that in the video before I upload it. Yeah? How many sections of loan will there be? Say it out loud. More than 2. There's 3. There's the 5 years before the offset. How long do you have offset money in there for? 10 years. And then after you've taken that offset money out, you've got the final section, which is just paying off the loan for the rest of time. So let's do the math. 5 years before offset. What's N going to be for 5 years of monthly payments? Sorry? 5 times 12, which is 60. Interest rate is equal to 5 PV. I started off the default home loan at 500 grand. Can someone remember off the top of their head what our default payments were? It was like 2684, negative 2684.11, I think. Remember you had it folded over? 2684.11. FV is what I'm solving for, because I want to work out how much do I still owe the bank after 5 years. Payments per year and compounding periods per year are both 12. So I chuck that in the calculator. 60, 500 grand, negative 2684.11. So this tells me after 5 years I owe the bank negative 459,143.53 for 2 decimal points. Okay? I'll give you some moments to get that first TVM, first 5 years. We have 10 years of offset now. Can someone quickly tell me what would N be for 10 years? 120, well done. I'm only doing an offset, so my interest rate's not going to change. This is where things change. PV. According to your first TVM solver, what did you get your debt down to? What do you still owe the bank after 5 years? Which number is it here? The FV. I still owe the bank $459,143.53. So at the start of the offset, I still owe 459,143.53. That's what I owe. But I'm offsetting. How much am I offsetting it by?
10 grand.
10 grand. So what do I need to do to this number? Minus 10. To minus 10 grand. Because while that 10 grand is in the offset account, it's going to be subtracting from it. So it's going to be 449,143.53 is what my PV is going to be. PMT will remain the same, negative 2684.11. I'm solving for FV. I want to know what I owe the bank at the end of this. PY and CY are both 12. So calculated time again. We're working out what happens at the end of 10 years of offsetting it by 10 grand. 459,143.53. Take 10,000. 449,143.53. So that's telling me after that 10 years, I owe the bank $322,948.94. 2 decimal points. All right, I'll give you a couple of moments to get what happens at the end of 10 years of offsetting. You get in trouble. That's no, you can't talk about it. Saucy social media. What happens if you're a pro-level bodybuilder? You just can't help checking everything on social media. Yeah, but because you've done the trend, you're literally telling me what the trend is. The more that I pay per month, the more that I save, however it becomes less affordable. All right, let's finish this off. Let's work out. Remainder of the loan. Remainder of loan. We're working out how long it's going to take to pay off the remainder of the loan at 5%. Let's think about it before I go on. Boys, can you leave it after? At the end of this 10 years, what does it say I owe the bank? Which number? At the end of this 10 years, which number is telling me how much I owe the bank? FV. So I still owe $322,948.94. But that is offset by 10 grand. So when I start the remainder of the loan, yes, I might owe this. But if I'm taking out the offset, do I have that reducing power anymore? So what do I have to do to this number? I don't know. I'm not offsetting anymore. So that's going to be 332,948.94. Hopefully what you're seeing is this maths is complex because there's so many possible numbers that you could stuff up typing. It's not complex, the idea of it, because what you're doing is just putting money in and it's being hidden. Okay? PMT remains negative 2684.11. What do I want to owe the bank at the end of a loan? Nothing. PY and CY equals 12. So just check. 322,948.94 plus 10 grand. Owe nothing. How long does it take? 174.95 months. Okay, give you a few moments to get that. How many sections of loan is that? How many TVM solvers do we have? 3. Therefore, how many sections of interest will we have? 3. I just haven't done that yet. I'll start typing out the calculations for the interest across here. I'll do it in red. Interest first 5 is going to be 2684.11 times by the 60 payments you made. Take away 500,000. Take 459,143.53 is going to equal a number. Interest 10 years offset equals 120 payments of 2684.11. Take away 449,143.53. Take 322,948.94 is equal to a number. I'll work that out after. Then interest rest of loan 2684.11 times by 174.95. Take 332,948.94. Take nothing. I'll work those 3 out. What would I have to do with those 3 red bits at the end to work out how much interest I pay in the whole loan? Add them all up together. Yep. So 2684. 100,000. So that first section of loan cost me $120,190.13 in interest. The first 5 years. That's how much interest I paid. 2684.11 times 120. Take 449,143.53. Take 322,948. Nope. 0.94. In the 10 years of offset, I paid $195,898.61 in interest. Then the last little section, 2684.11 times by 174.95. Take 332,948.94. 136,636.10 to 2 decimal points. So the total interest equals 121.90.13 plus 195,898.61 plus 452,724.84. Is that less than the default? hoping it is. The default home loan cost 466. So just like you would be doing in your DI, interest saved compared to default equals that. Take 466,279.6, take 45. You would save 13,554.76. Are you saving more than the actual offset amount? Yes? Did you lose that 10,000? No? You just lost access to it for 10 years. But it's saving more than it's actually worth. So much better than a lump sum. And something I'm personally using right now. Okay? We're trying to keep our offset around 20 grand. Alright, I'll stop the recording so you can talk amongst yourselves.